Well, as Monica mentioned, reporters asked about that reporting that was first made on MSNBC, which we want to dig into. It is that Donald Trump's DOJ is racing to bring charges against one of the president's most high-profile adversaries, former FBI Director James Comey, who he just called a bad person, a sick person. Three sources familiar with the matter tell MSNBC the possible indictment could involve perjury charges tied to Comey's congressional testimony that was way back in 2020. But at the moment, it's on hold because of concerns that the case is simply too weak to stand up in court. The final decision now belongs to Trump's handpicked interim U.S. attorney in Virginia's Eastern District. Her name, Lindsay Halligan, a woman with no prosecutorial experience who was sworn in just 3 days ago after her successor was forced to resign. This morning, Connecticut Democratic Senator Chris Murphy said Trump's calls for an indictment are just part of a larger plan.
The point here, sure, is to get a few of his political adversaries in jail. But the real point is a tried and true tactic of despots all over the country, all over the world, which is to just harass and intimidate their political opposition so that people decide to stay indoors. Protesters don't show up. Candidates don't run. That's how democracies die.
Carol Leonnig helped break this story for MSNBC. She joins me from Washington. Anthony Coley is former director of the DOJ's Office of Public Affairs under President Biden, as well as an MSNBC political analyst. Barbara McQuade is a former U.S. attorney, University of Michigan law professor, and an MSNBC legal analyst. Welcome all. Carol, some extraordinary reporting by you and your colleagues. I want to talk about this issue that prosecutors are racing against the clock to get an indictment against James Comey. Explain that for folks.
Well, there's two reasons for that race, Chris. One of them is legal, and one of them is extremely political in nature. The legal reason is there's a statute of limitations on perjury and lying to Congress, which are some of the charges that we are told from sources is on the block, if you will, for a case that the Eastern District of Virginia new leadership is considering bringing against the former FBI director. That statute of limitations is 5 years. And based on Comey's testimony, which was September 2020, the end of that time is coming nigh. It's days away. The second reason, the political reason, is that the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in this important federal prosecutor's office was essentially told he would be fired if he didn't resign because he said he had concerns about whether or not there was enough evidence to bring a case against Comey. Most importantly, though, our sources said he straight up objected to charges against Letitia James, and that was a sort of catapulting moment. Letitia James is another of Donald Trump's members of his enemy list, if you will. And so the challenge with 5 years is basically the statute of limitations is about to toll. And the second issue is the former U.S. attorney that Donald Trump chose for this position and was considered a loyalist, frankly, to that administration, said the facts aren't here. So that guy just left last week, and now a new U.S. attorney, again, chosen by Donald Trump, much less experience, is in charge, and it seems to be, according to our sources, wanting to present this to a grand jury.
So again, Carol, if the indictment is likely to include allegations Comey lied when he was testifying before Congress 5 years ago, I want to play part of the exchange that is apparently at the heart of this.
Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded under oath, quote, never. Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
So what's the problem there, Carol? What are they suggesting is wrong?
Well, Senator Cruz, very, very specifically, if you listen to that, Chris, is asking about whether or not Comey authorized Andy McCabe, his deputy director, to leak information to the Wall Street Journal. This had to do with information about the Clinton Foundation and the fact that the FBI was continuing to pursue various open investigations into her and her husband's foundation, the former President Bill Clinton. The problem with hanging a perjury charge on that, and I'm not a lawyer, but I interview a lot of them for my job. The problem with hanging a perjury charge on that is the available evidence as investigated by the Department of Justice, Inspector General, and other outside entities is that Andy McCabe was authorized to leak that information or talk to the press by FBI statute, and that Comey never directly said to him, go ahead and give this information to the Wall Street Journal. In fact, what the Department of Justice's internal investigation concluded was that Andy McCabe, the deputy director, believed he told Comey he was doing this, not that he sought Comey's authorization. And Comey, for his part, did not remember Andy telling him, Mr. McCabe telling him that he was going to do this. Again, a perjury charge on that small point, which Cruz is asking, didn't Andy McCabe say you authorized him to leak this information to the Journal? It's just not borne out by the facts.
So let's go to a lawyer. Barbara, give us a sense of how difficult it could be to bring a case like this in lieu of irrefutable evidence.
Yeah, this is beyond thin. This is not a case I think any reasonable prosecutor would bring. And I think one tell we have for that is the fact that no prosecutor has brought it until we're on the eve of the expiration of the statute of limitations. But if you listen to it, the person's lie must be literally false. It's not enough that someone was misleading or omitted something. You have to pull out and quote the statement and say the person then and there knew that this statement was false. If you listen carefully, as Carol has pointed out, what Comey is saying is it was my testimony that I have never served as the source of a leak. What McCabe seems to have said is that McCabe was the source of a leak and that Comey authorized it. So even if you believe both of them to be true, it is quite possible that McCabe was the leak and Comey says I was not the leak. And so I think even on a preponderance of the evidence standard, that case fails. Put it in front of a jury that has to find guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and it's a non-starter. Now, you can get an indictment just by demonstrating probable cause, but the principles of federal prosecution say a prosecutor should not bring a case unless the evidence is sufficient to obtain and sustain a conviction at trial. That means you believe you have enough evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. There is no rational prosecutor who would bring this case unless there is evidence of which I am currently unaware.
So, Anthony, let me put you in today at the DOJ. When you were at DOJ, would comms be part of the conversation going into any high-profile prosecution? And are there potential political dangers that you might warn about in taking on not just a big case, but an incredibly huge case that prosecutors aren't sure they can win?
No, in a normal Justice Department, communications is an afterthought. Lawyers and prosecutors make the case, and then at the appropriate time, they bring in the comms people so that the comms people can communicate the decisions that have previously been made. But can I say just one thing broadly about Jim Comey, Chris? I'm of two minds about Jim Comey. On the one hand, I have zero sympathy for Jim Comey. I am mindful that he himself violated DOJ rules, particularly DOJ's 60-day rule in October of 2016, October 28th of 2016, to be exact, when he sent a letter to Congress telling them that the FBI was going to reopen its investigation of Hillary Clinton's use of an email server. That was in the height of the election. It was a bogus investigation. He shut it down 11 days after he opened it, 2 days before Election Day. But at that point, Chris, the damage had been done. And if Jim Comey himself had adhered to DOJ rules, we may never have had a Donald Trump presidency. So that's the emotional side of me. The rational side of me is mindful that what Donald Trump is trying to do right now to Jim Comey, to Letitia James, to Adam Schiff and others is worse. That's what's happening now. It is also worth noting that when prosecutors, as Barbara McQuade just said, when career staff tell the U.S. attorney that there is not enough evidence to obtain and sustain a conviction, that they're not going to move forward, that's the end of the story. And if a U.S. attorney agrees, that's also the end of the story. But what we have here is a president who doesn't care about facts and law. He doesn't care about the rule of law, which requires prosecutors to treat cases alike. He cares about political retribution, and that's what we see unfolding right now in this challenging moment in American history at the Justice Department.
So, Barbara, a couple of quick things. First of all, when you have what seems to be a Department of Justice looking into bringing charges against a former FBI director, and the President of the United States, and this is not the first time he's done this, acknowledging, knowing that this is going on, says he is a bad person, he is a sick person. Does that have bearing in the big picture on how we should view this?
Well, it does. In fact, if charges are filed, these are going to be, Exhibit A of how this is a politically motivated prosecution, that it is perhaps selective prosecution, and that President Trump has tainted the potential jury pool against Jim Comey. This is the President of the United States making these statements. People all over the country hear this information. Sometimes when a jury pool is tainted, you can get simply a change of venue so that the case can be tried in some other district where people are unaware of these issues. But when it's the President of the United States making these statements, there's no place in America where Jim Comey can get a fair trial. And so there are potential due process violations here, and I'm sure his lawyers will file motions to dismiss on that basis. So every time Trump opens his mouth about Jim Comey, he's making it harder for his prosecutors to convict him.